Good evening, this is Avraham Shira for Web Yeshiva, beginning our new Elul Zman, 5776, a few weeks before Rosh Hashanah. We're going to be dealing with the creation story from different angles, different perspectives in the Kabbalah and in other Hasidic texts. We're going to be looking at the idea of creation as a narrative, but also as a tradition that's been handed down to us. I welcome all of you and looking forward to hearing your comments and insights and questions. Please feel free to ask, and if I don't answer them right away, I'll try to get to it, and if that doesn't work, you can always email me. I'm very excited to teach this material because I always try to choose things that are challenging to me and challenging to the mind and to our perspective of reality, and that's part of spiritual growth. And the Zohar is constantly pushing our envelope, if you will, and we're going to begin in Midrash root, what's called the Zohar Hadash. Now, there's many controversies surrounding the authorship of the Zohar, and the Zohar Hadash was a later book of the Zohar. We see that the students mentioned in the Zohar Hadash are the later students of Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar, and including a host of other tzaddikim, including Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yitzhak, and Rabbi Ruhamai opens up the discussion we're going to begin tonight. Rabbi Ruhamai, there's a machloket in the Gemara whether Rabbi Ruhamai is Rabbi Meir Balanes, and after he was put into Harem, the Gemara doesn't call him by his real name, calls him by Acharim. No, Yesh Omrim, excuse me. Rabbi Meir is Yesh Omrim. But in the Zohar, some say he's called Rabbi Ruhamai. Others say that's Rabbi Nechunia ben Hakana, who was a rabbi or teacher of Rabbi Akiva, meaning that he was in the previous generation, which means he could have been Rabbi Meir's rabbi. But remember, we're dealing with people that didn't have books. They had scrolls, and not everybody had a scroll. Not everybody had a scroll writer. And a lot of things were passed down orally until somebody finally wrote them down. Now, Rabbi Abba was the scribe of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the cave in Peki'in, in the cave in the Idra Zuta and Idra Rabbah, which, of course, all of you can get on a plane and come visit and go to those holy places, and I guarantee you, you will get a sense of what the Zohar was then and today by visiting those holy places, because we integrate our spiritual and our physical selves. We understand that our spiritual activity, learning and davening, praying and sharing ideas, has an impact on the physical realm. So if enough holy people sit in a cave and learn, the cave becomes holy. Even if it wasn't holy before, it becomes that because of the activity going on there. So even the Kotel HaMa'aravi, which is considered the holiest place in the Western, in the Jewish world, was actually not part of the original Beit HaMikdash, but because Jews have been davening there for thousands of years, their prayers have impacted the physicality with their spirituality. So the Zohar is constantly pushing us in this unification of the physical and the spiritual, because that's the way they really are. But our mind wants to separate the two. There's physical and there's spiritual, because we need to have handles. And if we treat everything as one, we have no handles. So we break things down to rejoin them. And it's happening in the mind. So it's a big process, and this is part of the mystical process of spiritual growth. I see some other new names. Nahama Navon, welcome. And Ricardo Bloom. And Stephen Melnick, welcome. Great to see some new names out there. Again, as I said, it's a privilege to be part of Web Yeshiva and to teach the Torah in any case, in any place, at any time, to anyone. You know, whether you teach one person or a million people, doesn't matter. It's the net effect. So I encourage all of you to learn and to share what you learn. Rabbi Ruchamai Omer. So this controversial figure, Rabbi Ruchamai, says, Mitzion Hushtata Aretz. From Zion, the world was formed. The Hushtat is connected to the idea of the Even HaShetiyah, the foundation stone, which of course is on Har Habayit today, underneath not the dome of the rock, but rather the dome of the rock, yes, not the mosque that's further down the street. And that stone, the Zohar says, is the beginning of creation. So we're not going to enter the political arena of controversy where Avraham brought Yitzhak as a korban, where Adam Rishon brought a korban after his fall with the snake, and where, of course, the Muslims say that Muhammad had a night ride on a horse, and et cetera, et cetera. This rock is the beginning of all physicality. That's what it's telling us. And you know, it's really interesting because it actually supports the Copernican universe view versus the Galilean view. Because everybody used to always think that the Earth was a centric view, our egocentric view, before Galileo came along with his telescope and said, wait a minute, there's something going on. We're spinning around the sun. It's not spinning around us, which is not exactly completely accurate. But geophysically, we understand where Galileo made his point of view, that the world was heliocentric, in other words, sun-centered. Previous to that, it was earth-centered. And the Zohar is telling us the entire creation is earth-centered. So talk about blowing out our keli and blowing out our vessels of understanding. We're not talking about just our solar system or the Milky Way or our local galaxy cluster or the supercluster, or, we're talking about the entire physical realm began on that rock down the street from here. So we're talking about the shift from spiritual to physical. We're talking about the beginning of physicality, where molecules and atoms and energies become physical. Now, anybody who learns physics or learns basic biology and all the different realms that spin off from there, understand that there are electrons and neutrons and protons that make up atoms, and those atoms make up molecules. And then, of course, the astrophysicists and the theoretical physicists tell us, well, there's quarks and there's strings behind that. There's smaller and smaller structures. But these structures are so small that from our perspective, they're spiritual. They're energy. And energy is spiritual. So if I can convey one thing to all of you and to myself, day by day, it's the constantly recorrecting the mind's needs. Our mind needs to separate spiritual and physical, but it's not true. They're not separate. An atom is a spiritual thing.